Europe is evolving. Learn how in Parlamento.
The financial crisis that has knocked so many zeros off the world's liberal economic spreadsheet is expected to help the left raise its political capital higher. Italy's radicals this March began digging out old symbols to campaign for the European elections. At this theatre, the Milan branch of the Communist Refoundation Party called on the faithful to discuss Europe, how to get out of the crisis, more social justice, more rights. But Europe seems far away to Milanese like these.
People see the European elections as far off. When I'm with people, I see there's a distance between Refoundation's correct goals and reality and the choices the government makes. Not only the government, but Europe also.
Refoundation feels with certainty that this election will swell its market share of the vote.
It's the only true left, the sole opposition, the only shield against everything that's dumping on us.
Where in Europe's political array does the Refoundation Party sit?
It sits in the GUE group with the forces of the left, the communists and European anti-capitalists.
The diverse movements of the left, not calling themselves socialist in the European Parliament, for years used to sit in a group calling itself communist. Then in 1989, four parties, Italian, Spanish, Danish and Greek, formed their own group, calling it the United European Left. Francis Wurz has been its president for 10 years.
There are 41 of us, the members coming from 17 different delegations from 13 countries. This shows the diversity of sensibilities on the left represented in our group, because there are several delegations, sometimes from the same country.
With the enlargement of the European Union to include the Nordic states and Austria in January 1995, the group integrated parties referred to as the Nordic Green Left. How is this manageable?
We refuse to be ingested in the strategies of the national parties themselves. We desire that the diversity of sensibilities be respected, and that, as a group, we're building an identity for the GUE. It makes us proud to manage to get the different families of the left to cooperate and make them build this identity of the European left together.
The group is deeply anti-capitalist. It strives for another kind of Europe, and in 2005 opposed the European Constitution, which in the end failed to win an EU-wide consensus. It had a vision of Europe not under the guardianship of NATO, open to the South, offering an alternative social model not adhering to the rules of capitalist globalization.
We want to change Europe, leave behind wicked stepmother Europe and produce a bastardized Europe, contaminated, mongrelized, where people can share the great hope of mixing their cultures, a Europe which speaks the common language of the citizens and faces up to people themes.
Promoting environmental protection and respect for human rights, for instance, the group has been driving for years for the right to access to water. Yet the economist Riccardo Petrella wants the GUE to build up its courage further in matters like this.
Concerning the eradication of poverty, part of the GUE is lukewarm. Its members don't believe in it, and they aren't ready to start the battle to bring an end to the shanty towns. If we don't end these, and poverty, what speech could we make about justice, liberty, democracy? I sincerely think that the European left, in its globality, must own up to a great insufficiency. It's unable today to show a coherent alternative vision which will motivate at the necessary level.
The National Secretary of the Communist Refoundation Party, Paolo Ferrero, says Italy's crisis has a specific origin.
The crisis is due to the excess of moderation on the part of the radical left over all these years. There's a crisis of the European social democracies all over Europe, in England, Germany, Spain, Italy, due to the fact that the social democracies shared in liberal policies after the Europe of Maastricht, and these very policies have led us to the crisis.
Among its initiatives against the crisis, the left in Italy organised the sale of bread for €1 per kilo, with the support of a social consumer group, to press bakeries to bring down prices. Paolo Ferrero says that to build social and economic alternatives, there has to be an alliance Europe-wide. That's why Lothar Bisky came to Milan, the president of the Party of the European Left and Germany's Die Linke, and why Alexis Tsipras, the president of the Greek party Synaspismos, came. But Bisky wasn't taking anything for granted during preparations for the elections.
The European left will get stronger. It will make a strong showing, but not enough, I fear. But then I'm a realist. I would say things are going to get more complicated. The crisis hasn't yet reached its highest point. The crisis is just beginning. People are beginning to feel what the crisis means, and by the time these implications become visible, the European elections will have come and gone. I do think, however, that the left and maybe also the socialists will profit.
Alexis Tsipras was elected president of Synaspismos in February last year, becoming the youngest leader of a political party represented in the Greek parliament. He's fighting for a left that can rise to today's challenges, shedding the neo-communist nostalgia. He doesn't advocate forgetting the past, but for looking forward.
The left today must take part in the debate on the big social divisions and take a stand in order to regain the trust of the young and of society. It's not enough to rest on the laurels of past battles. It has to take a position on the high stakes of today.